everyone, over here, we're back, and today I'm going to be talking about Shane Dawson. He recently uploaded a video to his channel titled Taking Accountability. In the video, he discusses his problematic past of certain things that he did, and he addresses them, and he speaks on certain ones that people have been asking him to talk about for a while now. Address it, take accountability, take responsibility, and that's what he did. I just want to start by saying, anyone that can take accountability for past mistakes, past issues, past problems, that does show growth, I believe. Someone that, because he could have easily just ignored it like someone else is doing. I have to give Shane some credit on making this video, speaking up, apologizing, and recognizing his past. That is just, it's becoming more and more each day of how bad it was and how unaware he was and how problematic a lot of the things he did were. And he does take accountability for, I would say, most of it. There are some things about the video that I'm not too fond of, and that's what I'm kind of gonna just talk about in this video. And so one thing that he did, even though he said he was sorry, he said, if you accept my apology, you accept my apology. If not, totally fine. And I think that was good to know that not everyone is going to accept his apology, which as of right now, I think it's maybe like a 50-50 on how people feel about him and the apology and if they want to accept him or not. That's on each individual person, how they want to take Shane going forward, let's say. If you want to follow him, if you don't, if you accept his apology or not, that's up to each individual person. What he did do that I kind of had an issue with, there's a section in the video after he talks about, I believe it was the things he said on his podcast, the very aggressive, for shock value things that he would say, and he apologizes for it. But he also says this,
which is my problem, my fault. So I'm sorry if you heard that. There's also other ones too. And that's something I have addressed before, but my childhood, my past, I've had a lot of pain. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. I've had a lot of issues with my family. And I took that pain and I turned it into jokes. And I think instead of joking about them so much, I probably should have just went to therapy earlier and talked about them.
So he says how he had a very problematic childhood, a very sad childhood, which, if you know Shane, you know about his childhood. But something about him saying that just kind of, to me, it takes him holding himself accountable and almost like putting some of the blame, like, well, I had a bad childhood, so that's why I said these things. And whether he meant that or not, I just don't think that it was needed, because it almost shifts some of the blame off of you when the blame is 100% on you. He did these things as an adult. And, there's plenty of people out there who have horrible childhoods, and they grew up in terrible situations, and bad things have happened to them, and they don't turn to that kind of comedy or that kind of dark humor to cope. And everyone's different. Everyone's going to deal with things differently, of course, but I just feel that especially this, taking accountability, it kind of, in my opinion, shifted some of the blame, like, well, I had a traumatizing childhood, so that's why I joked about these traumatizing things, and it just sounded like an excuse to me. Next, I want to talk about the whole James Charles situation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, last year in May, there was the whole Jeffree Star, Tati, James Charles. I don't know why Jeffree Star's name is always in the stuff. He had nothing to do, so we thought, with the stuff with James. It was Tati who was speaking out about James because she felt that was the right thing to do. Somehow Jeffree's name always gets pulled into things because he just has to be involved in everything. But basically came out that there was a lot of allegations against James. Whether those are true or not, I don't know. But people jumped to conclusions, and they went and said horrible things about James. It was like the most mass unsubscribe that I think has ever happened. I think he lost like 5 or 10 million subscribers in like 3 days, which is crazy. And then there's also the theory that because of that is why YouTube changed the like how many subscribers you can see. I think I believe that rumor. Whether that has been proven or not, that's what I believe. But anyway, so then James came out and he defended himself and he debunked a lot of the allegations against him. Fast forward a year later, and we're finding out that Jeffree had a lot more to do with it than we thought. Shane knew about it, and people wanted answers. They were like, why are you involved in this? You know, Shane has had this, you know, best boy persona. You know, I think you know what I mean by that. But like, you know, he can do no wrong. He just wants to help. He just is this innocent, you know, normal, loving, caring, sensitive guy. And I'm not saying that he isn't, but that is the persona that he has put out on the internet, which is not a bad persona to have. But then when you find out behind the scenes that he knew more about this, and instead of stopping it and being like, hey, we're 3 30-year-olds who are planning to potentially what could be ruin a 19-year-old's life, maybe we should stop. Maybe this shouldn't happen. And, you know, I think that Jeffree absolutely wanted it to happen because I would say James is his main competitor. And I don't know, just for you to be so threatened by a 19-year-old says a lot about you, Jeffree. Like, you're in your 30s and you're scared about a 19-year-old passing you. You know, and you're willing to ruin his life and his name and his everything because of jealousy. So people took to Twitter and they were reaching out to Shane and they were like, Shane, like, what is going on? You know, did you have something to do with this? Did you not? Like, just speak up. We just want to know. And he wrote a very long note on Twitter that he later deleted. I can put it here for you guys. It's, you know, it's very, very long. If you want to pause and read it, go ahead if you have not. I'm sure a lot of you have. It was floating around for a while and everyone was talking about it. He does address that note in his video.
I have an address that people are really, really upset at me for. So I sat down and I wrote that essay, which I wrote it to be funny. It didn't come across that way. It came across very angry, which it was, but it was also supposed to be funny. It just was a huge miss in every single way. So the part of the Twitter note that I regret more than anything in my life was the part where I said that James deserved a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building. I only want to talk about this situation with love because I feel like that note had so much anger in it. It was just not good. And so I'm going to come at this situation by first apologizing. I'm sorry, James. I'm really sorry. First of all, nobody deserves what happened. Nobody. The whole internet ganging up on someone. Nobody deserved that. And who am I to say that somebody needs to be humbled? Me. Like, who am I to say that? I literally have put so much hate onto the internet over my last 15 years of YouTube world. Like, I have put so much shit, and I'm sitting here like, well, because I've changed and because I'm nice and this and that, like, yeah, you need to be humbled. It's like, that sucks. I hate that. That was so immature and gross, and I'm so sorry.
What I do appreciate about Shane, you know, speaking out on video and not just writing a note, is that he personally apologized to James, which is, I think, the first time anyone has done that out of the three of them. I don't know if Tati did that. I know Jeffree has not done that. So I do think it was nice that Shane did, you know, say specifically to James, I'm sorry, you know. But what I don't like that he said is that that note was supposed to be funny. He has what I can only assume was thousands and thousands of people coming at him, wanting an answer, wanting a response, wanting to know. And I know that he's a comedian and he deals with things, you know, his way of coping is by humor. This was not one of those times. This was not a time to try and be funny. This is a time that people want answers. They want to know why. They are confused. Like, why did you have anything to do with this? Why did this happen to begin with? I believe it's all jealousy. I'm not saying that James is innocent by any means. I'm not saying that. But the way that it was handled was wrong. And I just think that even though, like, that note, if, you know, reading it, to me, I didn't see humor at all. I mean, maybe at the end, but even reading some of the parts that were supposed to be kind of humorous, I was like, this is in poor taste. You are supposed to be, I guess, in a way, defending yourself, or at least acknowledging that you had a say in this. I don't think he orchestrated it. I don't believe that. But the fact that he had anything to do with it, I think, is what is shocking people most of all. Because like I said, he has this persona of helping and wanting to be a good person. But then he knew about this. He knows how the internet works. He's been on the internet for years, for so long. He's one of the OG YouTubers. He knows how the internet can turn on a person in a second, you know, and he just allowed it. And that's what's just, I don't know. I'm not saying he could have, I guess if he had come out and said, like, I tried to stop it, but I can't tell someone what they can and can't post, that would have been different. But to know that he was totally okay with this, totally okay with the potential of ruining another person's life forever. Their career is over. I don't know. Doesn't sound like the nice, humble, sensitive man that he likes to portray himself as. He continues more about the note in his video, and he says this.
And I know a lot of people were saying that, well, why did you say you're leaving the beauty community? You were never in it. And you're right. I don't know why I said that. That was stupid. I was never in the beauty world, because a lot of the beauty people that I watch, and I'm not just saying that, I think a lot of people think I'm lying when I say I really love the makeup world and I'm really invested in it. I'm not lying. For the last year, I've been watching beauty channels every day. My whole homepage is just beauty channels, and it's smaller ones. So to know that I hurt those people who aren't problematic and who just love makeup and who have been working their ass off for years, for me to shit on that, I am so sorry. Also, I'm aware of how hypocritical it is for me to say I'm above this tea and drama channels and drama, and I'm not like that, and that is so stupid. It's so dumb. At that moment, I was so upset with certain things. It was just me being upset. And it is hypocritical. I mean, I watch drama videos, but when it's about me, oh, now it's a problem. Like, and I'm aware of how hypocritical that is, and I'm so sorry.
So he did say in the note, like, that I'm leaving the beauty community, there's so much drama, blah, 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 which is the beauty community, like, does it have a lot of drama surrounding it? Yes, but so does every community. And it's just mainly the people that he has decided to surround himself with now are very dramatic people. They're always involved in the drama somehow, some way. And so that's just his side. Not every single person wants to be involved with this drama. And I want to really quickly talk about the whole, you know, conspiracy palette thing. I found it weird when Shane wanted to make a makeup palette. I was like, he's never talked about makeup. He's never shown really a desire to do anything with makeup. And hey, if he all of a sudden grew a love for makeup, that's awesome. But we had never really seen it, ever. And, you know, he did talk about it a lot, and we got to see the making of it, which, I mean, I half watched that series. It kind of just, like, I don't know, it just was kind of weird to me in some way of, like, I know he did it for money, clearly, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But it just, after the palette came out, I rarely heard him speak about it at all. I know people said that he may have been talking about it on Instagram or something, but I never saw it. That could be my bad. I don't know. But then he came out and he said that he was making a whole different channel called Shane Dawson. And he's going to do beauty stuff on there because he knows that people on his main channel may not be interested in the beauty part of things. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's going to have a whole channel, like, doing makeup on himself, maybe on Ryland, you know, showing, maybe bringing other friends along where he could do the makeup on them, where they could do the makeup on him, something like that. He made the channel, and there is nothing about him doing makeup on it. He has like, I think like 7 videos on there, and there's no makeup on it. So again, he's promising to do the makeup, like, I promise, I care about makeup, but then we don't see anything. I don't know. I think if anything, he could have just come out with a really nice like line of merch like he has, because that's his brand. But the makeup palette, and I'm not dissing the makeup palette, I'm sure it's great quality. I just found it out of character for him, weird, and that maybe he, you know, I mean, Shane's an adult. He can say yes or no to things, but he was, in a way, could have been manipulated by Jeffree when Jeffree said how much money he can make from it, and he just saw dollar signs and didn't realize that he, you know, you go one route and that's it, you know, that's the route that you're choosing. I think now he's probably regretting that. But I just think that the makeup thing was just weird to me. I don't know. And then speaking of Jeffree, he talks a little bit about his friends and what he says here.
I'm aware that I hold my friends or people I care about to a lower standard than I hold other people. That's wrong, and I'm so sorry. I think I get attached to people who have a heart, and maybe it's covered in a lot of stuff, and maybe they have a lot of issues, but I almost feel like I am attracted to other broken people who have issues, and I want to help them, I want to fix them, or I want to help people see a better side of them. And I'm aware that I'm friends with some people that, you know, have done some bad things on the internet, and I don't condone it, and I don't co-sign it, and that is something that I've always addressed with them privately. I'm ready to own up to this stuff, and I'm ready to hopefully show you guys that it's okay to admit when you're wrong.
After I watched his video, I went to the comments, and, well, they're not good. That's for sure. But I saw a lot of people saying that if you just dropped Jeffree as a friend, then I can forgive you. If, you know, ever since you became friends with Jeffree, you changed, and, you know, this, that, whatever. And do I believe that he did kind of change a little bit after being friends with Jeffree? Like, he really did kind of, you know, he started like Gucci, and he started to like do things that wasn't really like the Shane aesthetic, let's say. I mean, he has money. Hey, flaunt it. You know, that's the one thing I also have kind of disliked about Shane as time went on, is that he still tried to portray himself as this like poor person. It's like, dude, you haven't been poor for a long time. And I know that he's trying to still like, you know, be relatable, but you can still be relatable and just now have money. Like, it's okay. You don't have to pretend like you're poor. We know you're not. So, do I believe Shane has changed a little bit? Yes. However, people saying that, you know, he changed, you know, Jeffree changed him. All of the stuff that he is addressing in this video, for the most part, are things that he did in his past before he even knew Jeffree. Jeffree has nothing to do with that. That is Shane's responsibility, Shane's mistakes. They're not Jeffree's mistakes. I know a lot of people don't like Jeffree. I don't. I don't, you know, I can't tell Shane who he can and can't be friends with. He can be friends with whoever he wants, and whatever comes of that, you know, but Shane is an adult, and he owns up to his mistakes. They're not, I don't like that people are blaming Jeffree, I guess, for Shane's problematic past. Like, that is Shane's responsibility. But I think that Shane does need to align himself with, I mean, again, he can be friends with whoever he wants, but like I said, whatever comes of that is going to come of that. He has aligned himself with people that are problematic, and his content has changed since he stopped hanging out with certain people and then started to hang out with different people. And we can either choose to continue to support that or not. That is on us as the viewer. That is, we can't tell him who we can and can't be friends with. We can just show him support by watching or not. But then also on the other side, you know, in this clip, I feel like he is still defending Jeffree in a way, and hey, if he wants to still defend Jeffree, that's him. He is defending his friend, and he'll defend him until the end. I hate that that kind of rhymed. But I was looking, and Jeffree has said nothing. He has not tried to defend Shane. He has not tried to do anything to help Shane. And that just seems to be the kind of person that Jeffree is. He hides when he should be, you know, facing this. This is also on him. has, you know, all of this stuff also, you know, there's Shane's stuff, but then there's Jeffrey's stuff, and we want Jeffrey to take accountability, but he isn't. That's a totally different thing, you know. If he doesn't want to take accountability, if he just wants to hide, that's on him too, you know. Honestly though, even if he did come out and made a video, there's nothing he can say that I think people would even give him the time of day. I think they're so over him right now. They're so done. They're so just, yeah. I think we all get it. So the last thing I want to talk about is just last night, Jaden Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith took to Twitter to address Shane. And if you don't know who I'm talking about Will Smith's wife and Will Smith's son, the Smiths, I think, all right, we got it. But I was like, oh, that's weird. Why are they, that's random. But hey, I mean, I guess calling people out, and these very, very famous, very wealthy people are calling out Shane. I was like, oh, this is getting deep. And I was watching a YouTube video of someone talking about this because it's all anyone's talking about right now. And they showed a specific clip that is the one that made Jada and Jaden very upset. And I'm not going to show it because it made my jaw drop. It made my heart hurt because I had never seen it. I didn't know that Shane's past went as deep as it does. There is an archive going around on Twitter of all the things that he has said, you know, as jokes and dark humor that are not okay. And I believe he knows that, but it's still not okay. And you can find the video. Everyone's talking about it. But it's a lot. It's disgusting. It's so wrong. And I completely understand why the Smiths are speaking out about it. So, final thoughts. I guess I don't know what's going to happen with Shane's channel. I don't think he knows. Nobody knows. It all depends on if you want to continue supporting him, go for it. If you don't, then don't. You know, there's only so much you can throw at someone and then say, I'm sorry. That's all they can do. They take responsibility. They take accountability. They apologize, and they grow from it. And if you don't accept that apology, then don't accept it. You're not forced to accept it. Stop watching him. Stop supporting him. Like many people clearly are via his social blade. This week has been a lot. You know, 2 big YouTubers, huge, who have been on the platform since basically the beginning. And, you know, we are seeing them potentially leave forever because of their past. And do I believe that they have both grown and changed and are better people from that? Jenna, absolutely. Shane, yes. Overall, has Shane done things that, in my mind, I believe are unforgivable? I do. It is up to everybody individually if you want to forgive, if you want to keep watching, if you want to keep supporting. That's all we can do. They have made their apologies. They have said, I guess, what we want. I don't know what more can be said at this point. And it just all is on us if we want to continue watching these people, and if they want to continue making videos. We'll just see what the future holds, and I just hope that Shane really does mean what he says, and that he really is sorry, and that he just forever tries to grow and be a better person and educate the world to not be so insensitive like he was. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really, really liked it, please subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you forgive Shane? Do you not forgive Shane? Do you think he can move past this? Just let me know what you're thinking, because I think the internet is absolutely ablaze right now, and I'm really interested to know what you guys think. So until my next video, I'll see you guys then. Bye!